Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, emotional, and mental health paradigm. We try to do that as often as we can. We've got nearly 800 of these available across many different subjects, and we try to add to this as often as we can, usually multiple times per week. If you are interested in coaching, would love to connect with you either through at PO Perception or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either way is going to get you in contact with my team, and then we can go from there. Always looking for new clients, and there are, in fact, some even YouTube-related specials. So that could be helpful to you, especially if you're trying to get back on your feet post-COVID or something like that. In any event, today's audio is about kind of the idea behind the connection to self-worth, things that can affect your self-worth. Your perception of your own achievements can affect your self-worth greatly. This is because most people equate their influence in the world based on what they've done. The illusion of competition is built this way, and ultimately can often get quite overwhelming. Because, how do you determine if what you've achieved is enough for persons that, for example, struggle with issues with low self-esteem, might be unimpressed that they just get through, for example, a 2-year college or even high school, whereas for a person who comes from a family that has members that never graduated, this can be a major accomplishment. So it's all a matter of perception, and perception gives way to that reality. It doesn't necessarily mean that one way is better than the other, but there are lots of people who continue to be individuals who are focused on that level of achievement. The next thing that factors in for many people is the amount of money they make. Money creates power, but also money, when it is used in a way that's to be showy, to be, um, you know, to be braggadocious, to be influential through the use of money or the perception that financial ability does matter in that way, says a lot about how people begin to kind of go in a different way. Interesting thing that comes with that is a person can have a lot of money and then obviously go crashing into the kind of the nether negative thinking manners and ways of being. It doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than another, but when a person identifies their self-worth through money, it can lead to a very slippery slope for a number of reasons. The next thing that people use to identify their success is education. Now, this can be super problematic because a person with a degree means that they may be disciplined. It may even mean they have a limited or flexible amount of intelligence, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're smart. A person can get a degree by being diligent, studying information, and then forgetting it later. That doesn't mean that education is bad. Much to the contrary, the act of learning for the sake of learning and actually retaining information is important. However, using education as a marker of actual intelligence and or influence can be problematic for a number of reasons, and ultimately a person's self-worth should not be determined by their connection to higher education or college or continuing postdoctorate degrees. While it's good to have these things, especially if they're used to better the world, they are not the antithesis or they are not the identity of an individual. The next thing is the views of other people. Obviously, public image has a lot to do with how people see themselves. That is, they are more influential in their own minds many times when they believe that other people like them, esteem them well, or have value for them. However, when a person's value is determined by the views of others, does that mean that their value then goes away when, in fact, someone doesn't see them the way they want to be seen, or things go in a negative direction? Furthermore, if a person is lying about the value they place upon another individual, Does that mean their self-value is actually based in falsehood? Of course not. And so placing self-worth in that way can be extremely difficult. Another dangerous way that people kind of look at this is through appearance and visual things. Obviously, there is a preference in every culture for what is considered physically attractive. However, one person's version of physically attractive and another person's versions of physically attractive can be uh, significantly different. Also, when a person views physical attraction as a qualifier, they may miss the value of the individual from an intellectual, emotional support, or just mental health paradigm. This then means that the person may struggle with senses of needing to look a certain way, go through plastic surgery or other body modifications in order to appear what society considers trendy or socially acceptable from a physical looks manner. The problem with this eventually becomes, obviously, as we age, our looks change, and therefore beauty is only as effective as the value that is placed upon it for a season or a time. The next qualifier is relationship status. Many people identify themselves as successful only if they have a romantic partner. The problem that this creates is that many people stay in romantic relationships that, in fact, aren't healthy or aren't mutually beneficial to both parties. Furthermore, people get into toxic habits and behaviors and pretend to be happy, thereby affecting their mental and emotional health through staying in relationships that don't serve the greater good for both parties. Each person should be benefiting from the relationship equally or close to equally so that things can be moved forward. The next thing is level of friends or influence of friends, and then finally also children factor into this. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.